Hello, how y'all doing? Let's do it. The Book of Bizarre Truth. I am on page 552, and what I want to read about is this is in Truths About History's Mysteries. Okay, so it's called Unidentified Submerged Objects. And it says, much like their flying brethren, unidentified submerged objects captivate and mystify. But instead of vanishing into the skies, USOs, such as the following, plunge underwater. Okay? So this first one is sighting at Puerto Rico Trench. In 1963, while conducting exercises off the coast of Puerto Rico, U.S. Navy submarines encountered something extraordinary. The incident began when a sonar operator aboard an accompanying destroyer reported a strange occurrence. What could that be? According to the seaman, one of the subs traveling with the Armada broke free from the pack to chase a USO. This quarry would be unlike anything the submariners had ever pursued. You ever heard of anything like this? I hadn't. So that's why I had to, Okay, so anyway, it says, underwater technology in the early 1960s was advancing rapidly. Still, vessels had their limitations. The USS Nautilus, though faster than any submarine that preceded it, was still limited to about 20 knots or 23 miles per hour. And then there was another ship called the Tristy, a deep-sea submersible, could exceed 30,000 feet in depth, but the descent took as long as 5 hours. Oh my God, 5 hours. Once there, the vessel could not be maneuvered side to side. Knowing this, the submariners were stunned by what they witnessed. The USO was moving at 150 knots, that's 170 miles per hour, and hitting depths greater than 20,000 feet. No underwater vehicles on the planet were capable of such fantastic numbers. Even today, modern nuclear subs have top speeds of about 25 knots or 29 miles per hour. Will someone from the Navy contact me to confirm this or disavow this? This is crazy. And can operate around 800 plus feet below the surface. 13 separate crafts witnessed the USO as it crisscrossed the Atlantic Ocean over a 4-day period. At its deepest, the mystery vehicle reached 27,000 feet. To this day, there's been no earthly explanation offered for the occurrence. Now, to any naval officers or cadets or, enlisted, have you ever heard of this before? Okay. USO with a bus pass. In 1964, London bus driver Bob Fall witnessed one of the strangest USO sightings. While transporting a full contingent of passengers, the driver and his fares reported seeing a silver, cigar-shaped object dive into the nearby waters of the River Lea. L-E-A. Oh, Lord. I feel something, you know what I mean? The shaped object dive. The police attributed the phenomenon to a flight of ducks, despite the obvious incongruence. Severed telephone lines and a large gouge on the river's embankment suggested something far different. Shag Harbour incident. The fishing village of Shag Harbour lies on Canada's east coast. This unassuming hamlet is to USOs what Roswell, New Mexico is to UFOs. Simply put, it played host to the most famous occurrence of a USO ever recorded. Brace yourselves. On the evening of October 4th, which we're coming up to the anniversary in a couple of weeks. Not this coming week, but the next week will be the anniversary of this event. Okay, keep that in mind. On the evening of October 4th, 1967, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police were barraged by reports of a UFO that had crashed into the bay of Shag Harbour. Lori Wickens and 4 friends witnessed a large object approximately 60 feet in diameter falling into the water just after 11 p.m. They could clearly detect a yellow light on top of the object, floating approximately 1,000 feet off the coast. The RCMP, that's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, promptly contacted the Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax to ask if any aircraft were missing. None were. Shortly thereafter, the object sank into the depths of the water and disappeared from view. While local fishing boats went to the USO crash site, they encountered yellow foam on the water surface and detected an odd sulfuric smell. No survivors or bodies were ever found. The Royal Canadian Air Force officially labeled the occurrence a UFO, but because the object was last seen underwater, such events are now described as USOs, unidentified submerged objects. Pascagoula incident. Have you heard of this? Pascagoula. On November 6, 1973, at approximately 8 p.m., a USO was sighted by at least 9 fishermen anchored off the coast of Pascagoula, Mississippi, a state I ain't never been to and a state I don't want to go to, including Alabama. Okay? Dear God, don't ever let me go to those states in the name of Jesus, okay? If you from Mississippi or Alabama, then you know what I mean. So don't even try to get no attitude with me. Here, okay, they witnessed in Pascagoula, Mississippi, they witnessed an underwater object, an estimated 5 feet in diameter, that emitted a strange amber light. First to spot the USO was Ramey Ryan. He repeatedly poked at the light-emitting object with an oar. Each time he made contact with the strange object, its light would dim and it would move a few feet away, then brighten once again. Oh, man. Fascinated by the ethereal quality of this submerged question mark, Ryan summoned the others. For the next half hour, the cat-and-mouse game played out in front of the fishermen until Ryan struck the object with a particularly forceful blow. With this action, the USO disappeared from view. The anglers moved about a half-mile away and continued fishing. After about 30 minutes, they returned to their earlier location and was astounded to find that the USO had returned. At this point, they decided to alert the Coast Guard. After interviewing the witnesses, investigators from the Naval Ship Research and Development Laboratory in Panama City, Florida, submitted their findings. At least 9 persons had witnessed an undetermined light source whose characteristics and actions were inconsistent with those of known marine organisms. Oh my God! Ooh! After interviewing the witnesses, investigators from the Naval Ship Research and Development, let me tell you something, I took a class at Texas A&M University, and it was marine biology, and we went out on a ship into the Gulf of Mexico, and we got water specimens as well as various organisms, and I remember sitting on that boat very, very still, and even then I felt like we were being watched. You know, we couldn't see anybody else on the surface of the water. There were no other ships or anything like that, but we definitely did not feel alone. And we were all creeped out about it. We all did our assignment and everything. We just wanted to get out of there. We just wanted to get out of there, you know. And it was years after I'd taken that class that I found out that there were like islands and inlets and stuff other than Galveston Island in the Gulf of Mexico that are uncharted, they're unmapped, there are people there that we don't know nothing about. Nothing about. And I've never met any of those people on my many trips to Galveston, Texas City, you know, Beaumont. Nothing. We have a community called I want to say Deer Lake, something like that. And it's a closed society. You never hear about that community. Nobody comes from there that goes for fame or goes to LA or anything like that. It's a closed group of people you never hear about in the state of Texas. There's so much that we don't know about this world, hunty. Ooh. But you know me, I want to know, but I am, there's so much that I'm not privy to. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That's why you have to be careful about what it is that you say. There's so many people. There's a boy that's missing in an Olympia right now. He ain't missing. They ain't found nobody. But somebody knows where he is. He knows where he is. There's a whole other civilizations and existences going on at the same time that we are. And I'm not talking about other dimensional stuff. I mean right here in our world. In our world that we're not privy to. We're not allowed to know about these places and things. And unless you've taken the classes, you know, studying oceanography, which is what my major was at the time. Well, I had so many majors and I've been to so many colleges and the information is just crazy. I could be a lifetime student forever. I wanted to start a new class on the East Coast in January, 2020. Man, but look, I don't even have to go across the country to learn new things about this world that we live in. And I hear so many stupid people. Somebody else said that to me. People are just so dumb. I can't remember who said that, but just this week, somebody that I was talking to said that to me. And it's not so much as dumb, it's just ignorant. You don't know what you don't know. There's so many people who have no clue. But anyway, it just came to my mind. I just remembered that while, reading about these unidentified submerged objects. And I believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg of the information that's actually, out there in different places and in the minds of people who just don't say. Because so many people can barely deal with the minute information that they do have. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Anyway, let me continue. So I believe this thing was a living thing. It was real. It was alive. It wasn't mechanical. You know what I'm saying? After interviewing the witnesses, investigators from the Naval Ship Research and Development Laboratory in Panama City, Florida. That's the place you can Google. I'll Google it for you and I'll put the link down below. Okay, in the description. After interviewing the witnesses, investigators from the Naval Ship Research and Development Laboratory in Panama City, Florida, submitted their findings. At least 9 persons had witnessed an undetermined light source whose characteristics and actions were inconsistent with those of known marine organisms. This thing was alive and blinking off and on. And this person hit it really hard and it went away. And every time it would nudge it, it would get away a little bit, but it kept emitting this light. Oh, mm. Okay. Okay. At least 9 persons have witnessed an undetermined light source whose characteristics and actions were inconsistent with those of known marine organisms or with an uncontrolled human-made object. Their final report was inconclusive, stating that the object could not be positively identified. And of course, I don't think that they were able to get this object in order to put it in a laboratory setting to study it, because it doesn't say here. So, all right, and I've got 4 highlights. 1, residents of Andorra, a small country located in the mountains between France and Spain. That's Andorra. Have you heard of it? Andorra. Have the highest life expectancy at birth, living 5.5 years longer than Americans, who rank 45th. That's not impressive. The Panama hat actually originated in Ecuador in the 1880s when Americans were building the Panama Canal. They erroneously named it, thinking it was a local creation. The human heart produces enough pressure to squirt blood more than 30 feet, which, no crime scenes, honey. The smallest frog hails from Cuba and measures less than a ½ inch when fully grown. So that's that. Oh, of course I'm going to Google all of these. Histories, mysteries, unidentified submerged objects. Crazy. Crazy. The world that you know of in your mind, honey, that ain't nothing. And for people to make the decisions that they make in their life and the things that they do to other people and to themselves and to their families and friends, and focusing on, money over substance and quantity over quality. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's too much about this world that I don't know. I have enough respect and admiration for that I don't play those games. I don't play those games. Trying to manipulate somebody, trying to force something to be that isn't meant to be, not showing respect for your pathway, your life path journey, not showing respect for other people's journeys, trying to use people, and oh man, I just can't. There's some people who make the decision. They know way more than I know, and they still make it their pursuit. Their goal is for money and riches and all of that. I can't do it. Somebody comes to mind right now, honey, and he going for broke. He going for broke, baby. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So y'all have a good day. Like I said, I'll put the links below, and I'll put my information down below for all my social media. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So I try to upload every day, sometimes twice a day like today. All right then.